Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a collaboration video for you. My friend Leah, who I knew from when we lived in England, approached me and asked if I wanted to join with her and share some organizing tips. So of course I said yes, because I love organizing, and that is something that she and I have in common, that we both enjoy that and we're both good at that. If you're new here from Leah's channel, then welcome. It's lovely to have you here. I hope you'll subscribe and stick around. If you guys don't know about Leah's channel, I have mentioned it in a favorites video before. She also features organizing, vlogs, and just a mix of videos as well that I think you would enjoy. So be sure to check out her video. And now let's just jump into the organizing tips. When you have a whole bunch of clutter and it's kind of taking over, it can be a little bit overwhelming and you might not know where to start, or feel like you're never going to get on top of it because it's just so much to tackle, and that can cause procrastination and make you feel like you just need to put it off because it's this huge big job that you have to tackle. So my tip is to set aside regularly scheduled time that is manageable and just chip away at it. So for example, maybe every Saturday set aside half an hour to just chip away at decluttering and just to go through things and sort things out. Do it in bite-sized pieces, just one drawer or just one closet or even just one shelf at a time, and eventually you will get there. But you're never going to get there if you don't actually make the time to do it, and you don't have to make that time all in one go. Tiny little bite-sized pieces, regularly scheduled so that you will actually get around to doing it, is the easiest way to get there.
My next one is to plan your week ahead. Now that I have 2 children and I'm at home all the time, I'm finding that I've got all this time but I've got no time. So I'm at home every day and I just don't know what to do with my time. Whereas before, when I was working, I knew that when I was at work, that's what I was doing on those days, and I had to fit everything else around that. So I had a structure to my time, a structure to my week. Now that I don't go to work, there is very little structure, or it could be very little structure. By having a plan for your week, you know exactly what you're doing. You're not going to be doing one thing. So I find that I clean all the time when I don't have a plan, and I don't enjoy cleaning. I like a clean and tidy house, but I just feel like I need to clean all the time if I'm at home, and nobody wants to do that. By having a plan for the week, you know exactly what you're doing, you're motivated to get those jobs done when you're meant to get them done, so that you're free to do things on the other days. Children love to have a schedule as well, so even though this might be more of your schedule for your week, they will really benefit for having a schedule for the week, so that they know that on a Tuesday they're going to a play group, and maybe on a Wednesday they're going to the library, and they know that's going to happen every single week. And they will really benefit from having that schedule in place, and it will help them to kind of stay calm and have something to look forward to throughout the week. So it works both for yourself and for your children.
My next tip is to think outside the box in terms of where you store things. We tend to think of certain things being stored in certain places, and that's just the way it has to be. For example, storing clothes in a closet or wardrobe in the bedroom. They don't have to be stored there, they can be stored elsewhere. Yes, storing them in the bedroom may be convenient if that is where you get dressed, but what if you like getting dressed in the bathroom after you have your shower and you'd be carrying your clothes to the bathroom anyway? Then it doesn't really matter where you're carrying them from. So that is just one example of storing something outside of where you would normally think to store it. My husband has his clothes in a closet in the hallway because we don't have a big enough closet in our bedroom. So we just added a couple of bars or hanging rails, and that is where he stores most of his clothes, although some of his clothes are in a chest of drawers in our bedroom. Another example is our spare pillows. We have more storage in our bathroom than we actually need for bathroom things, and we don't have enough closet storage space to stash pillows, so I store our spare pillows in the cupboard in the bathroom, and that works for us. So just think outside of the box. You don't have to store things where you traditionally think you should store them. Cleaning products don't have to be stored under the kitchen sink. They can be stored elsewhere, and you'll find a world of possibilities may open up for you.
My next hack is to have a home for everything. This might sound a bit simple, but sometimes we don't have homes for our belongings. Maybe our shoes just lay in the hallway, or we haven't got somewhere for the keys to go, or we haven't got somewhere where our bags go. By having a home for everything, you know exactly where it's meant to go, and you know where it is, so you don't lose it. So if your keys have a specific place to go, they're not just laying around the house. So when you need to go and open the front door or need to leave, you know exactly where they are, saving you time and you're not having to search for those keys. And if a home for one of your items isn't working because the person isn't using it, maybe that needs to be addressed and looked at, and maybe change where things go or make it a little bit easier. Don't put the home for your coats and bags upstairs, because the likelihood is that most people in the house aren't going to use that. By having somewhere downstairs, if you have the space, it makes it a lot easier for them. So don't make it hard for them to use wherever you've designated those things to live. Make it easy, and they're more likely to use it. And if it isn't being used, address why it's not being used, look at whether it needs changing, and make it easy for the whole family.
My next tip is about grading your real estate. So every single place that you can store things, drawers, shelves, cupboards, is your storage or organizational real estate, and it comes in different grades. So grade A real estate would be things that are very easy to reach, a shelf that's right in front of you, the top drawer out of a set of drawers, things like that, something that's just super easy and convenient to reach into and to grab an item. Grade B would be something that you need to stretch or bend to reach, lower shelves or higher shelves. Grade C would be something that you need to get a chair or step ladder to reach, and grade D would be something like a shed or attic where it's much more inconvenient to get to. So think carefully about what items are stored in which grade of real estate. If you're storing your Christmas decorations on the top shelf of a hallway closet, that is a waste of convenient space where you might be able to store something that is used more frequently. So put your Christmas decorations into grade D real estate, and then put something else that is maybe inconvenient to get to, that you hardly use because of that, but you would use more often if you could get to, and then store that on the shelf in the closet. So have a look at your real estate, have a look at what is stored there, and if you can move things around to make it a little bit more convenient to get to things. There's no point bending down and hauling out your sandwich toaster that's stuck away on a bottom shelf in the kitchen if you use that 6 times a week, but your food processor is sitting right there at waist level on a shelf and you only use that once or twice a month. I would suggest swapping them around.
I've been joined by my little baby. He was asleep, but he decided to wake up, but I thought I would continue filming just so I can get this done. Hopefully he stays quiet. He's starting to get a little bit whingy now, so I think he might be due some milk very soon, but I am almost finished, so we're going to try and plod through and get this filmed. My next one is to have a shared calendar on your phone. Both me and my husband have iPhones, so we have connected our calendars. On there you can have multiple types of calendars, so you can have a calendar for yourself, one for work, one for your family, but you can connect them up so that every time I put something into the calendar, Keith will see it on his phone and vice versa. And it means that if he maybe has a meeting coming up, or he's working late, he can put it into the calendar and he doesn't have to remember to tell me later on in that day. And even if only one of us is kind of organised in our family, so I would probably be the one that would organise our family in general, by Keith putting things into the calendar, I know something's coming up and I can take that into account when we are planning for some family time. If he's got something coming up where he might not be available because he's working, I won't plan a trip out as a family because obviously he's not around. So that just helps me kind of keep things organised. I know what Keith's doing and vice versa, he knows what I'm doing. There has been a couple of times when Keith has put doctor's appointments or hospital appointments in the calendar for himself and he's forgotten about them, but because they were in there, I was able to remind him that he had the hospital appointment that day or the following day, so that he was able to leave work on time to get to the appointment. Otherwise he would have missed the appointment. Even though he had put it into the calendar, he still would have forgotten about it. But by me being able to see that it was there from my phone, I was able to remind him of that.
My next tip is about hanging things. We tend to think of storage space as drawers and shelves, but really you can expand how much storage space you have just by looking at vertical surfaces. The backs of cabinet doors in your kitchen, inside your closet doors, the backs of actual doors, wall space, the sides of furniture. You can find vertical space all over the place, and when you actually think of that as valuable storage space and start adding hooks and hanging things, you'll just find you have so much more place to organize things. Here are a few examples that I can show you. I've used the inside of our laundry cabinet to put this file holder. It's actually from the stationery section, and in there we store often used taller toiletries that won't fit conveniently in the cupboard, or that would have to bend down and lean into the cupboard to get. It's just much more convenient in the door. I have hooks inside my closet doors, and on them I hang my workout gear so that it's super easy to grab, which just eliminates an excuse. I also use the vertical space inside this cupboard in my kitchen. Inside the door I have my spice rack, and I have a basket in which I put tea towels and my mop cloths. And then on the wall I've hung my dough scoops, and I've also used a shower caddy organizer to store my electric hand mixer.
My next one is to prepare your bags, your coats, your shoes the night before. If you've got school-aged children or children who go to nursery, preparing your bags the night before just makes your life so much easier, and it means that you can get out of the house on time. Trying to get yourself and multiple children ready in the morning to get out early, 8 o'clock, maybe earlier in the morning, it's almost impossible if you then have to start preparing bags, lunches and all those kind of things in the morning as well. Maybe you're a super mum who can get up really early in the morning and do that. I am absolutely exhausted and don't want to go up any earlier than I absolutely have to. So I find that preparing everything the night before just makes it easier. So in the morning all I've got to do is grab my bags and stick them straight in the car.
My next tip is that if something takes less than 2 minutes, then just go ahead and do it. So much of organizing and decluttering is just delayed decision making, or it's procrastination. So if you come in and you take off your coat, it's going to take you less than 2 minutes to hang that coat up where it belongs. And so it's better to just go ahead and do that than to take it off, throw it over the back of a chair, have it look untidy in the meantime, and then later you still have to pick it up and go and hang it up anyway. If you see some dust on a shelf, don't say, oh, I need to dust this whole room, and then delay that task. It's going to take you less than 2 minutes to just wipe that shelf where you've seen the dust. So just go ahead and do it straight away. Anything that takes less than 2 minutes, do it straight away. And you will be surprised at how quickly you can get some things done. Tasks that you might think would take more than 2 minutes, you could probably get done in under 2 minutes. So time yourself with a few tasks if that is something that's holding you back, thinking that housework takes more time than it actually does. I can unload a full dishwasher in less than 2 minutes, which surprised me when I first realized it. Don't delay the decision making, make it straight away. If you have mail coming in, sort it straight away and make the decisions. Do I want to keep this? Do I need to put anything in my calendar, or can I just recycle it? Rather than have the mail just sitting on the counter or on the table as a task that you need to get to later.
And my last one is to have a command centre in your home. I have had a menu up on my wall for a long time. This helps with knowing what meals are coming up. So if I'm not able to cook, my husband can come in and know what we're making that night and know what to get out of the fridge or the freezer. And also I've got a little section on there where I can put any shopping items that are needed. So rather than doing a shopping list once a week, if I know something's run out, I put it straight onto there. But having a command centre means that you've got everything in one place. You've got your menu there, you've got your shopping list, you might have a board to put any kind of invites on, anything that's coming up, so you've got them up on the board. And having a plan for your week or your month. This is something that's new to me, having a plan for the week or the month, having that up on the wall. But I do think it's really beneficial for us all to see, even though we've got our calendars on our phone, having that up there so we can physically see it every time we walk into the room means that we know what's coming up that week. And it might be that we've got a birthday at the end of the week and I know that I need to get a card into the post. We don't always look at our calendar on our phone, and we might only look at that day that we're on rather than looking at the whole week. And by having it up there on the wall, it means that we know what's coming up that week, and it means that we can be prepared for anything that we need to get organised for, sending cards or getting gifts, or maybe not overbooking ourselves. So rather than agreeing to go somewhere on Saturday when we've already got something planned, just makes it a lot easier. And having it all in one place in your home. I've only got a small space in my kitchen where I can have it, and it works for us. I would love a bigger area, and we don't have that at the moment, but it can work even in a small area.
So those are my tips and Leah's tips. I hope you've enjoyed seeing all of these tips. Be sure to go and check out Leah's video, which I will link down below, in which we each share another 5 organizational tips. So that's another 10 tips for you, which we hope will be useful. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for coming over if you're from Leah's channel. It's lovely to have you here, and I hope you'll subscribe and stick around. Thank you so much for watching. Happy organizing, and I will see you in the next one.